Hello, this is Sang. In this video, I'm going to introduce and study about Agile. Okay, so I'm going to talk about introduction of this video and then talk about what is Agile, then continue with the experience that I had in Agile and waterfall environment, then continue with the questions in the middle of the video before I close up with the conclusion. First, introduction. We are currently living in a life with sudden changes. Some can be changed in work, technology, and skills. Without the change, we cannot survive these days. We are more curious about the solving a mystery of the future than digging a history. Most of us want to have a new technologies and it helps our daily life much easier. Agile methodology is one of the key changes that we have to learn to improve ourselves to achieve our goals easier. Okay, so what is Agile? Agile is flexible and faster and interactive and satisfaction of customers. Agile is an interactive project management and it helps teams to break out projects into small pieces so that teams can come up with the work and results more flexible and faster and interactive among the teams. Also, when you are dealing with the customers these days are in a hurry so that everyone want to get their answers as soon as possible. So it is easier if you use the Agile cycle to deal with the customers. That it will make easier to respond to the customer needs and even faster and more provide with a better service and better quality too. Okay, so there are four major Agile frame time, which is Kanban, Scrum, Hybrid, and Lean. Actually, Kanban is a Japanese word. It means visual sign that you can see on the street with the shop's name on it. That's Kanban. So, which is using the Chinese character, and in Korean also is Ganpan. It's like the sign itself. Kanban puts simple note about every item in the project to be put on the board with simple description with a separate card. By using Kanban, project planning can be more like flexible and shortened time cycle and fewer bottleneck and visual matrix. So next is Scrum. It's most popular method of Agile, and there are three artifacts in Scrum. And the first one is product backlog, and the second one is sprint backlog, and third one is increment. So the product backlog is simply team's to-do list. It will be constantly revisited, reprioritized, and maintained due to the market change by the owners. So second, sprint backlog is a list of items that team members plan to complete during the project sprint, and increment is the total of the product backlog times were finished during a sprint. And next, hybrid is like a combination of two or more different methodology to come up with a new methodology. And for the final, lean is like putting the few resources to come up with zero waste and increase the efficiency. Okay, so next is experience of Agile and waterfall methodology. So as you can see in the screen, the waterfall methodology is more likely top to bottom order format so that team members need to clear each steps to proceed to the next step. If the first step is not done, then second step cannot even start ahead and have to wait for the first step to be done, which is not efficiently and not effectively at all. So if the project is predictable, like the regular work schedule, like the manufacturing schedule, then it might work with the waterfall system. But then it is usually really hard to follow each step without having a problem. So, for example, I was working in Korean and Japanese company in the past few years. Both of them had the same style, like old typical Korean and Japanese style order format, so which is waterfall. So as a manager, well, we could not actually process many things because since we had to follow what we have been told to, so every step that we had to follow made us lose more manpower and resources. So it took us more time to do the maintenance work or do the deliveries or testing because due to the system we have to follow every step by step, so we cannot just go ahead and proceed to the next step. And even with the simple problems which can just handle by the manager or assistant manager, like we had to report to the chief manager in like other department if we have like quality issue or like some like problem with the customer, something like that. So we had to go through all the details with the step by step, and we send the like progress report and the analyze report and everything to the other department to look over, and then they had to analyze it, and it took long time to process it. So if we were allowed to handle the problems like such as small ones for the just like managers or assistant manager, then I think it could be much easier and faster to process it and satisfy the customer faster so that we could save more time and then manpower and not wasting like you know resources. But like with the waterfall system, we had to follow every procedure to solve every problems, so which was not effective and not efficiently at all. But if it comes to Agile, then it would be different from the waterfall. Well, as you can see in Agile methodology, like it's not following like the waterfall system, so team members can react to each step more with the flexibility. So every steps of the project can be easily arranged or rearrange it due to sudden change or sudden problems. For example, when I was working in Korea as a new business planning manager, I took one big project with my own team members. We had 15 people in the team, and I had the authority to set my team in the way I wanted to set up. So I took Agile methodology to work out the project as a team. We started by taking order from the top in the beginning, but soon we had to change the whole process. The problem of taking a big project is always starting from the top, not from the bottom, and going through every process to reach the goal for the project was insane. And I had to change every steps for every report and customer service work from waterfall to agile. With agile, we could come up with better answers since we could divide the project in more details. So not like one of us took one step to take whole control over the one step. We share every steps with every team members so that any of us could come up with a solution as fast as we could. I think it was better for we took the Agile system because you know since we're working with a more flexibility, we can just, if there's a problem with the customer, then we can just come up with a solution, and then not like the reporting to the top and waiting for the answer to come to the bottom. We could just, answer it and then we're backing up as time whenever we have the chance to back up, then we can just back up with the answers. Next part is question about Agile methodology. Question number one. So, what is the characteristic of the waterfall methodology? Wait for it. Yeah. Answer is D. Every work is in sequential order in waterfall methodology. And question number two. Which of the following are frameworks of Agile methodology? So answer is E. So Scrum, Lean, Kanban, and Hybrid are four frameworks in Agile methodology. And question number three, what is the meaning of Kanban? Actually, this is Japanese word. So the answer is C. In Korea, Chinese and Japanese are using the similar Chinese character, and it means sign. Question number four, which is the best framework for the project, which is required to use minimum amount of resources and waste nothing? So the answer is E, Lean. Lean is the framework which improves efficiency by eliminating waste. So question number five, which is the best frameworks for team interaction in Agile methodology? The answer is C, Scrum. Scrum is the most interactive framework among the team so that they can share and solve the problems or work faster. So here's the conclusion. For the conclusion, I think waterfall methodology is old and not as flexible as Agile is. As you know, these days we have to adapt new technologies and skills to survive. Agile methodology is helping us to get updated and react in many different situations. Unlike waterfall, Agile is adapting new things to change current problems and come up with better solutions too. So Agile is not like the waterfall. It's not stuck in the one stage until it solves the problem and then goes to the next stage. Agile is just letting the problem can be solved at any time, so which is more efficiently and effectively work in the real life. Although this is just a 4-hour basic training of Agile methodology, we can apply this to our daily life, work, and many other situations. Instead of digging the problems from the past, digging the history to solve the problem is not better than we should just solve the mystery of the future by adapting new things and new skills and everything. So I think it's better to adopt and use Agile instead of using the waterfall. So this is my conclusion, and it will follow with the references the back. So the references are from the YouTube that we watched, and this is the end of my presentation. Thank you. Hope you liked it.